On today's Primetime Local News, Council brings forward a new update to the Northeast Area Plan after 2 years. We take a look at how nail-biting of a finish it was in the final day of the NACC. Plus, we check in with a rock band and their newest album. She loved me that she cut me loose.
Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
On July 12th, there was some discussion from the Lloydminster City Council regarding the Northeast Area Structure Plan. When the discussion began, some of the councillors indicated that there might be a negative response from the community.
It's perceived sometimes that the city does a structure plan, a study, some research, and then eventually you end up throwing that on the shelf and not doing anything with it. So it could be perceived in this case that since we just went through a whole process of a Northeast Area Structure Plan, that now we're bringing it back and changing it also. What did we do it for in the first place?
However, the updates to the Northeast Area Structure Plan are critical to the community since things have changed from when the plan was first approved in 2020.
It gives us the opportunity to take advantage of rail opportunities that may exist in the northeast portion of the city from that perspective. And if we have the ability to attract business with that, that will be critical to the success of our city. So I think this feeds well into the long-term planning of our city, both as a residential, commercial, as well as industrial.
It's time now for this week's retrospect. Here's Blake Nath.
This week in retrospect, we reflect on the local reaction to the debate on Quebec separatism in '92.
Lloyd Mall is one of many shopping centres across the country holding its own People's Forum on the Constitution. The display is called Speak Up for Canada. What people are asked to do is sign one of these friendship cards. What the card says is that Quebec is an important part of Canada and should stay in the country. Later, all the cards collected here will be sent to families in Quebec. Basically, it's a show of support for national unity.
Disappointing. I have maybe 100 cards.
But according to the mall manager, the attitude of many shoppers is more apathetic than patriotic.
Judging from some of my personal conversations with people, that they're fed up with the whole constitutional talks and meetings and all this sort of thing, and they don't want to be bothered anymore.
And for that reason, some people just refuse to sign the cards.
Meeting after meeting after meeting for what? They're going to leave anyway.
They didn't come to the bargaining table. Why should we recognize them?
Not all people in the mall are on the same side of the political fence. Some want Quebec to stay in Canada, but just haven't bothered to sign the card.
Not yet, no.
And why not?
I haven't gotten around to it.
I haven't had time, but I will.
I intended to, but I just haven't done it. I can't and won't hog-tie people and make them sign it. It has to be freely signed and deposited.
And on a lighter and tastier note, we checked the kitchen in '97 to see what's cooking for the Alberta Summer Games athletes.
Your hairnets, aprons, everything, all your supplies are set out on the table across.
Last-minute instructions for volunteers and the sounds and smells of food mark day one of operation for the Alberta Summer Games Food Centre. Breakfast and supper will be prepared here over the next 3 days.
Our food center is set up here for just under 1,300 people, and we expect to do a turnover of at least once, like tonight for supper, and then it'll probably taper off for breakfast and suppers as the games go on. But not everybody comes at the same time. We're cooking 1,200 pounds of roast beef just to start with, so that just one of the many items. Eggs, I picked up 20 600 pounds of frozen pasteurized eggs yesterday that'll do our 2 breakfasts that we have eggs on.
It will be long hours for the 300 volunteers and caterers who work in the food center. 400 shifts have been planned starting at 4 o'clock in the morning. In addition to breakfast and supper, bagged lunches are also being offered.
And that's all for this week in retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
The North American Chuck Wagon Championships wrapped up this past Saturday with the final race having one dramatic finish. Well, talk about a dramatic finish there in heat number 8 as Dustin Goris, Wade Salmon, and Jamie Labakane were all neck and neck at the finish line. It took the judges several minutes before deciding who was the champion. That is correct. Dustin Goris, brother of Logan, who won the title last year, took home the dash for cash and was declared the champion for the 2022 NACC. Goris spoke about what this win means for him and his family.
For my boys, you know, they ask when's Dad going to win all the time, so it's a good feeling and hopefully continues on.
Throughout the week, the former Lloydminster Bobcat mentioned how his confidence level stayed the same.
I knew the horsepower was in the barn and decided to keep my nose clean and I knew throughout the week if I got into the dash I'd have a chance.
Fans will have a chance to see a set of chuck wagon races at Hallstead Downs when the CPCA wraps up its season with the Lloydminster Finals from August 17th to the 21st. And now I'm going to bring back Shelby Clark as she'll give us an extended look at our weather forecast.
Thank you so much again there, Adel. Yes, taking another look at your weather forecast, we will be looking at our central zone to start off for our provinces here. And on the Alberta side, you know, we are ranging from around some cooler spots to a lot warmer. Most spots are just seeing that 27, 28 degrees over on this end. Meanwhile, down over in Jasper, they're at 23, and it's 22 and 20 in Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House. So they are looking slightly cooler compared to the rest. Now switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are looking slightly warmer compared to the Alberta side because all spots are just seeing that 27-degree mark. Meanwhile, over in Saskatoon, they are just reaching 28. Switching now over to our northern zone, as you can see, they definitely are seeing the warmest conditions compared. Definitely got some heat warnings in effect over on this end, especially with most spots just seeing that 29, 30-degree point. So while La Loche, Buffalo Norris, and South End all just seeing 30 degrees, so hopefully everybody's staying safe, enjoying their day, although make sure you are staying hydrated. And up in Uranium City, they are just a degree cooler at 28. Switching now back to our Alberta side here, they are slightly matching with the Saskatchewan side, but Slave Lake is looking slightly cooler with that 24 degrees, 26, 27 in Grand Prairie and Peace River, while high levels also just seeing that 27-degree mark. And Fort Chipewyan and Fort McMurray are looking the warmest there at 29, and Fort McMurray is now just seeing 31 degrees. So hopefully everybody's enjoying the day as well, but yes, please make sure you're being safe. Going over to our southern zone, surprisingly, looking at these temperatures, they are seeing definitely the coolest conditions compared to the rest of our zones here, especially with Lethbridge just at 13 degrees, 15 up in Calgary, while 17 over in Medicine Hat. Coronation and Banff are at 18, so they definitely have dropped quite a bit from what they were looking at last week. Switching now back over to our Saskatchewan side, they seem to be the same conditions as what they were looking at over the weekend and later on last week. Kindersley and Swift Current looking slightly cooler compared with 21, 22, while the rest are closer to that 30 degrees. 28 in Yorkton and Estevan, while Regina is just at 29, and Moose Jaw has reached that 30 degrees. Now going back across the region and looking at what we will expect throughout our evening tonight, we will be seeing some warmer temperatures once again for our evening and throughout the night. Seeing those double digits once again, but we are seeing summer closer to that 20-degree mark with Isla Cross, especially with a low of 18 expected, a low of 16 for Bonnyville and Pearson, while most spots will be expecting to see that low of 15, and Provost and Meadow Lake will be seeing that low of 14. Most spots will be seeing some nicer conditions. Meanwhile, Unity and Provost will be seeing that high chance of that precipitation as well as a risk risk of a thunderstorm. And looking at our 3-day forecast here, we will be seeing some nice warm temperatures this week. So get ready. We're seeing some beautiful days, 25 tomorrow, 23 Wednesday. We are seeing some sunnier days ahead as well. So get ready because we did see a little bit of cloudier conditions earlier this morning, although we will be seeing some more sun throughout the week. Then Thursday will even warm up to 26, almost starting off our weekend there. So we are looking at some beautiful days coming up. Hopefully everybody got some nice outdoor activities planned for the week. Now looking at some more photo submissions, thank you to everyone that submitted some fun photos from the Lloyd X Fair. I love seeing the reactions. It looks like all the kids are having a great time. On the left, it looks like a little bit scared to be on the ride, but hearing that it was their first time on a ride, so it's really great to see that a lot of families had a great time. And thanks again to everyone that submitted some awesome pictures. I love seeing it. And that's all I have for now. Our adult almond of our news coming up after the break.
This sweatshirt has recently become probably my favorite sweatshirt I own. It's incredibly soft and comfy. It has pockets.
I'm excited to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Zoe Potter. Zoe is a fellow Canadian, has a huge following on social media, and she promotes self-love. So Zoe, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, Zoe, let's talk about your accounts and some of the features that you have. One of the most popular one is What I Eat is a Day as a Fat Person Not on a Diet. Why did you start that?
I think that the main reason why I started it was I joined TikTok a few years ago and I noticed that it was a very popular trend and there were so many different versions going around, but most of them were focused on what I eat in a day in a calorie deficit, on a keto diet, gastric bypass, what I eat in a day for that. It was very heavily diet focused. And I personally had been working on getting away from the diet industry and trying to heal my relationship with food specifically. So I wanted to kind of test the waters to see what it would be like to kind of join in and do this, but so show that I'm not on a diet, but I do exist in a fat body and it's okay.
Well, what about the reaction that you get? Because there's a lot of positivity, but unfortunately, there's a lot of negativity as well. So I'm guessing you probably, unfortunately, expected to have some of that. And I guess, how do you deal with that, Zoe?
For sure. Yeah. I think that that's when you put yourself so openly on the internet, online, it is expected that you're either going to have a positive response, a negative response, or both. And I always say the love always outweighs the negative, and I'm very thankful for that. I have an amazing community of people that stand by me and find purpose in what I'm doing, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day. And I know that this sounds probably bad, but the more negative responses I get, the easier it is to deal with, if that makes any sense. And it doesn't bother me at all anymore because I know that 90% of that situation is just their internalized fat phobia and how they really feel about themselves coming out and lashing out to me on the internet.
Well, another thing you do, Zoe, is you do try-ons with plus size clothing, which is awesome because size inclusivity, I mean, it's getting a little bit better, but it's not where it should be. And to show that you don't have to wear, clothes that look like tents or, all basic colors, right? Is that part of the reason why you do some of the try-ons like this and show people that if you have a larger body size, you don't in fact have to stick to the, the traditional staples, I guess?
Correct. Yeah. I think, like you said, it has come a long way over the years. It still has a ways to go. But 10, 15 years ago, I wouldn't even be able to purchase a crop top for myself or something in my size that would be trendy or cute or on, trend in 2020, 2021, 2022. So I think that the excitement of being able to find things in my size now that could actually be on trend kind of got me to push out of my shell and to try different styles of clothing that some people may not feel is appropriate for bigger bodies to wear. But in reality, if it's made in your size and it fits you and you're comfortable in it, you should absolutely be wearing it.
How did you get to that point where you felt comfortable? Because there's still a lot of people who are larger sizes who still don't feel comfortable stepping out of that zone. Tell me a little bit about that journey. How did you get to that point where you're comfortable with no matter what you're wearing?
It's still a journey. I mean, I still have good days and bad. Thankfully, the majority of them are good for me. So I do find that it's a very slow process. I started with buying my first ever bikini at 30 years old. I documented the whole process on TikTok. It was incredibly invigorating. When I put it on my body, I thought I would have, this, you know, insecurity and the feeling of shame and regret as soon as I put it on. But the minute I put it on my body, I just felt liberated and free. And I think it just kind of became like an addiction for me. I had to try all the, crop tops and bikinis and this and that. So yeah, I just started wearing it around my house. I started wearing it in my yard. And then I just kind of ventured out little trips here and there. And I remember last summer, I wore this really cute, like crop top skirt combo from Shein, and I wore it to Costco. And that was like a big moment for me, because being out in public with that many people and showing my tummy scared me, but it felt so good because I didn't die and nobody batted an eye. So it worked out really well.
So Zoe, are you able to do content creation full time now just because of the amount of followers that you have?
It is my job. Yes, this is how I make my income for my family. I wouldn't say it's full time, but in reality, it is full time. I'm lucky enough to be able to work with brands a few times a month, and the rest of my content, 90% of it is free. So that works out really well for my following too, because basically everything that I do on a daily basis is my job, and I love that.
Well, Zoe, if people are looking to track you down on either Instagram or TikTok, what is the best way to find you?
Yes. So my handle is Love Zoe without the Y, Zoe Potter, at Instagram, TikTok, and you can find me at Zoe Potter on YouTube as well.
Well, Zoe, thank you so much for speaking with me today. It has been a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to continue to follow your journey. It's amazing to watch, and I love seeing the reactions of people. And like we said, you take the good with the bad, but definitely, it's just a pleasure, and I always feel it's a positive experience to look at your account. So thank you for what you're doing, and let's chat again sometime in the future.
Thank you so much for having me, Stacey.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
For all you rock music fans out there, we have the rock band Harmon Ease joining us today for Primetime Local News. We are speaking on their new release that was released on July 15th, their new EP called Camino Loco. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, guys.
Thanks. Thank you for having us.
We're glad to be able to have you on here. And I want to start off with just speaking on this EP, of course, starting off. Can you kind of explain what it's all about and a little backstory on this?
Yes, it's our album Camino Loco that just came out with a new single, Steady Roll, and a bunch of other tracks as well. And it's like our first major North American release. Last year we had a bit of like a surge in the band, like due to our song Cut Me Loose. It kind of blew up on TikTok and on Spotify and Canadian rock radio. And this is, Camino Loco. It translates from Spanish, crazy road. It means crazy path. And it's kind of a tribute to our time spent in Argentina and and where we are now, how we've gotten here.
And that's a really interesting idea to have that, for that to translate to that for the title of this EP. And since the release on Friday, how's that support been so far? You've been seeing some strong support?
It's been amazing. We've had so many fans and people message us, and everyone's been loving the album. We got the Spotify supported the album release. We got the big billboard on Yonge and Dundas Square, which was really cool to see. And it got added to a bunch of playlists, like our newest song, Steady Roll, the single. And yeah, it's been a lot of love for the album. So we're super happy about that.
You kind of were already explaining a little bit on this, so I kind of wanted to get you guys to expand a bit more on this, for what inspiration you found for this album and how you came up with these songs. Was there kind of a moment in time that inspired you to write these songs?
I guess it's been the whole move to Canada, right? Because we were based out of Argentina for so long, and we were working out of Argentina, and it was just like, at one point we all just decided like, hey, let's move this band to Canada. And looking back at like where we were and how far we've come now, and all the things we faced in the last 3 years, and how much has happened, and it's basically like, to me, it's like we did it. It's like a big, like, we went through so much, and we had this idea of coming to Canada, and we pulled through and came up with these songs, and so I'm really proud of that.
And with putting all that work into it and having that inspiration and just the idea for this EP, how does it personally feel to get that strong support and see that good response so far, even when it got just released on Friday?
It's overwhelming, it's heartwarming too. We're even just like over the last year, we've had our song get played all across Canada, and Sportsnet picked it up, so they were playing it before the like Stanley Cup playoffs and stuff. So it's just so crazy to be a part of like the Canadian culture and be up there with like some of the other great bands of this country, and to really get the same kind of love. It's a really beautiful thing.
Okay, yeah, no, you've made it into the Canadian role. Once you've made it to the Stanley Cup playoffs, that's when you know for sure. When you made it into the hockey arena, that's when you know you made it into the Canadian world.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's funny, we got so many messages from people like, I'm in an arena and I'm hearing your song right now, and we're like, wow, that's crazy,
Well, that's really awesome to hear. And is there some more projects or anything coming up that the band's working on that you kind of want to let us know about or give us a little teaser on?
Yeah, well, we do have a music video coming out this week for one of the songs on the album that looks super awesome. We were just watching it actually, and can't wait for everyone to see it. And yeah, we don't ever stop. Like, it's funny, the day of the release, we were in the studio recording a new song like on Friday. So it's like we don't stop, and we're gonna be releasing new music really soon, and we have some collabs and videos and all sorts of fun stuff coming, and merch, and yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming. So we never stop working.
Well, I hope in the future we'll be able to speak again and I can help get the word out for any fans here in the border city. I'm glad we're able to speak now and help spread the word.
Yeah, we'd love to. We are planning our first tour across Canada and everything. So hopefully we'll see you soon.
Hopefully we'll be able to make a stop on that tour here in the border city for any fans out here, able to catch you guys in person, and we'll be able to catch you guys as well. So that'll be great. Now, where can people just find all your band's work and the projects and some of the music that if they haven't really quite checked out your band and been able to hear it? Where would you suggest that they can definitely look on and find some more information on Harmonies?
You can find us anywhere on like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, anywhere you stream your music. And yeah.
we usually like update our fans on Instagram and on TikTok. Yes. And we're posting a lot on social media. So if you follow us on there, you'll definitely know what's happening with the Harmonies world.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Can't wait to see what you come up with in the future, and congratulations on the success of your new EP. And it was really great speaking with you guys.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap up our newscast. Stick around for our primetime local news at 6 coming up next.